that you'll be blessed mightily today. Before we start, I'd just like us to say a word of prayer. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you because this is a day you've made. We are glad and we rejoice. I pray for every single person here that our interaction today would be beneficial, it would be uplifting, it would be um, inspirational, and that every single life here will be touched, and that their lives will improve and they'll become better to the glory of your name. Amen. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So you're welcome once again to this session. Beautiful. Yes, I can. Yeah, I can see that loud and clear. You can always hear me loud and clear. That's good. That's good. That's good. Um, Joshua, can you hear me? Joshua, is that Joshua from Beautiful Gate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good. All right. Um, Beautiful. So Joshua, you would help me um, admit people in. So today I'll be talking um, in line, still in the same direction and in the same, the same focus that we had in the last two sessions. So we've been looking at the topic change in general. Pioneers of change has been our major focus. And the first week, we talked about what change really means. The transition between here and there is basically what change is. And change is what takes you from where you are to get to where you should go. And I talked about three key principles of change. I talked about the first principle being the principle of clarity, having clarity about where you're going. I also talked about alignment. And when I talked about alignment, I talked about you positioning yourself in line with your vision. So first of all, you cannot go through change or navigate change if you don't have clarity about where you're going. So the first principle of change is clarity. You have to be very clear about where you are going, your destination is. And I remember the last time I used this whiteboard quite a lot. And I'm just going to use that again just to illustrate what I'm talking about here right now. I'm going to use the whiteboard again to illustrate the point I'm making right now about change. All right. So what I did the other time was to draw two pillars. And I said, this is here. All right. For those who were here the last time, you remember, and this is there. And I said, the bridge between here and there is change. This is it. So change is what will take you from where you are now to where you want to be. But in order for you to go through this process of change and do it successfully, you need a few things, okay? And the first thing I talked about is clarity. Clarity is having a clear vision about where there is, okay? Very important. I talk about clarity. Clarity is the first thing. You need clarity about where you're going, okay? Clarity, very important. And I talked about the next thing being alignment. Alignment is you positioning yourself and developing a daily routine that is in line with your vision. You know exactly where you're going, but now you need to position yourself on a daily basis in line with your vision. Very important, very key. So it's not just enough for you to have a vision. It's not just enough for you to see where you're going. You have to align yourself on a daily basis. You've got to develop a routine. Someone said the secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. Successful people do daily what unsuccessful people do once in a while. So you have to have a daily routine of consistent application. You got to apply yourself on a consistent basis in line with your vision. All right. So I talked about clarity. I talked about alignment. The third thing I talked about was time, T. And I said the difference between here and there is time, T. T is time. And that talks about process, that there is a process. Change itself is a journey. All right. There's a process that you've got to go through. And that process requires dedication. Process requires patience. So there are a lot of things you cannot rush. All right. For example, building a real relationship or having a network that would support you cannot rush. You can't rush it. You know, I see people who, for example, meet people, or even myself, I use myself as a personal example. So many people have been reaching out to me in the last few weeks, oh, do this for me, do this for me, do this for me. And I realized that a lot of people are just out there for what they want to get. A lot of people are out there for what they want to get. Some people are even manipulating me to say, oh, yeah, well, somebody help you to help me. but no one wants to apply, go through that process. You don't even want to get to know me. You don't want to even have, develop a relationship with me. All right. You're just interested in what you want to get out of me. That's not right. All right. If you're going to go through things, you must understand that there is a process and you must be patient enough. All right. Patient enough to go through that process. So I'm just giving you an overview. Those three things, I keep saying them over and over again. If you're going to navigate change successfully, three key things you need. You need clarity about where you're going. You need alignment. You need to align yourself with your vision. And thirdly, you need time. You need to understand the times. You need to understand how you pace yourself. You can't run the race of someone else. You can't run the race of someone else. If you do that, you're going to make a shipwreck of the whole process. You've got to understand your own timing because everyone's timing is different. And I told you that what I'm doing here is mentorship. And mentorship means basically using my own experience, teaching from my own experience, encouraging you from my own experience. Because some of you may be where I am some years ago, and you may be wanting to aspire to something greater, something bigger. Some of you might even be ahead of me, but still yet you are here because you want to hear me speak to you, to encourage you in your own personal journey. So my job here, my assignment today is to teach you or give you my own experience, and then you've got to apply it in your own life. My experience may not work for you, but what you need to replicate is not the actions that I've taken, but what you need to replicate are the principles behind the action. And that's what I believe in teaching. I believe in teaching principles because principles do not expire. All right. Actions may vary from time to time. Culture changes. And the kind of society you are, the kind of country you live in is different. Would affect the way you behave. Some of you are, I'm not sure, maybe from Nigeria. Some of you are in the United States. Last week, we had someone from Germany. Depending on where you are, you may need to, your experiences may be different and your approach may be different, but the principles remain unchanged. All right, remain unchanged. So last week I talked about two key principles. All right, I talked about having a positive approach, and I also talked about understanding your purpose, having a positive approach and understanding your purpose. Today I will be talking about dreams, and I'll be talking about dreams from multiple dimensions. I'll be talking about dreams from different dimensions. I'll be talking about dreams from the scientific aspect. So I'll be looking at the neuroscience of dreams, and I'll also be talking about dreams from I'll be talking about the art of dreams and how you can relate that to your own personal life. Now, you must understand that dreams can have different meanings to different people. Some people, when they hear the word dream, they think about the experience they have when they sleep. Yes, we'll talk about that later. Okay, but when I mean dreams, I'm talking about that vision, that vision of the future that you have, that aspiration. That's what I'm referring to as dream here. But I will still have the opportunity to talk to you about the physiological dreams that we all experience when we do sleep. And some of those dreams can become altered to become nightmares. But I hope you get what I'm saying. All right. If you're with me, just give me a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. If you're with me, you're listening to me. Alrighty, beautiful. So you guys are with me. Good. So let's go now. We're just going to go deep into dreams. I'm going to use slides today, okay, to express what I'll be teaching today. So I'm going to be using slides. So hopefully you guys will be able to follow. I'll just bring up my slides right now, and I would share with you. All right. So we'll be talking about dreams today. Dreams, dreams, dreams. All right. Dreams, dreams, dreams. I hope you can all see the slide. Dreams is what I'll be talking about today. Okay. Now, I'll give you a very good definition of dreams, and this definition is from John Maxwell. A dream is an inspiring picture of the future. Can you see that? A dream is an inspiring picture of the future that energizes your mind, your will, and your emotions, and it empowers you to do everything you can to achieve it. You see, a dream is not just a mere mental idea or mental picture. No, it's an inspiring picture. This is different from the typical daydreaming that we have. And I would usually say this, that I'm one of a kind when it comes to daydreaming. I remember when I was young, I used to like this football player, this soccer player, JJ Okocha. He was a Nigerian football player. And I used to imagine I was his younger brother, and I could sit down somewhere for hours and just be painting that picture, daydreaming that I was J.D. Okocha's brother. There's no way in the world I could have been his brother. Not related to him in any way. But I just would spend my time and spend my energy, thinking and reflecting on what was not reasonable. But that's not what we're talking about here. A dream is an inspiring picture of the future. It's a picture of your future that flashes into your present. Are you understanding me? So seeing your future from the present, and it inspires you. It's an inspiring picture. You have a glance of what the future holds for you. And because it's an inspiring one, it's not a dejecting one. It's not one that depresses you. It's not one that makes you feel discouraged. You see that picture and it's inspiring, and it gives you hope, and it gives you confidence, and it gives you that energy. It energizes your mind. It energizes your will, your thinking faculty, your executive functions. It energizes your cognition. It energizes your emotion and empowers you. So when you see where you're going, you can't be the same anymore. When you have a God-inspired, a God-given dream, like Joseph in the Bible, when you have a God-given dream, when you have a God-breathed dream, when you have a dream that is inspired, you can't be ordinary. Your life can't be ordinary because there's something you've seen. You've seen something. It inspires you. It energizes your mind. It energizes your will. It energizes your emotions. It empowers your body. It keeps you active. It keeps you going because you've seen the end. You've seen it. And it pushes you to do everything you can to achieve it. It's a picture and a blueprint of your purpose and your potential. That's what a dream is. And that's what I've come to talk about today. Having a picture of the future. As someone said, they said, it's only the future that you can picture that you will feature. That's true. And that speaks to the power of dreams. And there are people who will go through change and create their own desired change. They have to have a picture in their minds. Every new innovative person always starts with a dream. And if you go through technology today, all these startup companies and all these, technology companies, that it all starts with a dream of solving a problem, a dream of achieving the impossible, a dream of doing something unusual. It starts with a picture of a future. And when that picture comes in your mind, it inspires you. You don't sleep, you just jump up and down. You want to get something done. You're really energized. People say, why are you crazy? Yes, because you've got that brainchild. You've got that idea in your mind. It's so strong. And you've seen the potential. You've seen what it can achieve. When you see and you have a glance and you have a glimpse of the future, of what you can achieve, of what your potential is, you can't sit still. You can't sit still. You keep walking, you keep walking, you keep walking, you keep walking because you know where you're going. You know where you are going. You see, I have dreams. And I remember when I was quite young, I saw this book by Ben Carson, Gifted Hands. And I read that book and I thought, I just want to deal with the brain. I want to operate on people's brains. I just had that. I watched the movie when it was made into a movie, and I was just inspired the more that yes, this is what I want to do. I had that dream. But I was in a different position at the time. I didn't have the opportunity at the time. I didn't have the finance at the time. I didn't have the privilege at the time. But I had that dream. I had that dream in my mind that I was going to do this. And I remember that when later the opportunities came, I recognized those opportunities and I grasped those opportunities. You see, when you have no dream, you cannot recognize the opportunities. When you have no dream, you'll be blind to opportunities that will lead you to your destination. When you have not seen where you're going, you will not be inspired and enlightened enough. And I hope somebody's writing this down. I hope somebody's taking notes right now. When you have no dream, your eyes will not be open to the opportunities that will take you to your destination. That dream is what keeps you focused. That dream is what keeps you enlightened. That dream is what opens your heart and your mind and your understanding. That dream is what makes you that keeps you your level of alertness at a very high level, because you know you're going somewhere. Dreams. Dreams. A dream is an inspired picture of your future. A dream will energize you. A dream will keep you going. A dream will make you, you know, active. You can't have a dream and be lazy. You can't have a dream and be slow. You can't have a dream and be lackadaisical. You can't have a dream and be nonchalant. You can't have a dream and be undisciplined. No. When you have a dream, you apply yourself because you see where you're going. A dream keeps you there. I remember when I was in secondary school, I went to a secondary school that was not properly funded. It was underfunded secondary school, like most secondary schools are in Nigeria. Now, not all, but there's some very high level schools. I went to one school that I'm not sure whether any of my mates are here, but it's called Abeson High School. I remember the first day in college when I got an admission to study computer science. I remember that the first day everybody stood around and we were in class and we wanted to introduce ourselves. So everyone stood up and you would hear, "Oh, I'm Paul. I'm from Queen's College. Oh, I'm from King's College. Oh, I'm Tracy. I'm from Queen's College. Oh, I'm this. I'm from Federal Government College somewhere. Federal Government College somewhere. Federal Government College somewhere." Whoa. In my mind, I was like, everybody they all knew themselves. This was the first list. People, you expect that, yes, they're very bright, they've been to the, best schools. And here I was at Abeson High School, somewhere in Ipaja, in Lagos. All right. Nobody knew that school. So when I stood up in class, I didn't mention my school. I just said, "Hi, I'm Ni Boriri. I'm from Ondo State in Nigeria." And I sat down. And thank God nobody bothered to ask me anyway where my school was, because I was really, I was one of the smallest and the youngest in the class, so nobody really cared about that. But it was just because I felt, that was the kind of school I went to. And one of the challenges I had when I was in secondary school was that I realized that because we spoke a lot of vernacular, I had problems expressing myself. I was not always like this. I had problems with my tenses. I had problems talking to people. I had problems interacting with people. It was always a challenge for me to be able to express myself in a very clear way. I was always making mistakes. I had problems with tenses. Was, where, is, are. I had problems, and I couldn't really express myself in the way that I would be comfortable. I'll see some of my mates arguing about sports and all that, and I want to interrupt or contribute, but I won't be able to do so because I had this sense of low self-esteem. I just felt that I wasn't good enough. I felt I couldn't express myself properly. I felt that I was always scared of releasing a grammatical missile. I just didn't want anyone to laugh at me. I didn't want anyone to feel that, "Oh, where did you school?" So I just kept my mouth shut and I became very quiet and reclusive in class. And this was a time when I was also going through a lot of tough times. I didn't have enough money. I never bought a textbook throughout my first year of at Yaba College of Technology. No textbook, no breakfast. I would, it was just my faith. I think I did share some of these things last time. That year was just by faith. But then I would just see myself. I just had this dream that I would be able to speak at an international conference. I just felt that, yes, maybe one day I will be able to stand before people and talk, and I'll be able to express myself because I felt I knew stuff, but I just couldn't express myself. And by the way, I was 15 when I got to the Yaba College of Technology. At the age of 14, I'd finished my high school education. At 15, I was in college. By 17, I had an OND. And by that age of 17, I was in medical school. So I was a bit precocious, but I just had no confidence in me. I felt very inferior. I felt very small. Even when I was in medical school, and I know one or two of my classmates are here, I wasn't the loudest in class. Thankfully, I was in a church where we always try to isolate ourselves. So maybe that even protected me a little bit. But I'm not that. I'm not the quiet. Those people who really know me. And some people here, they really know me. They know that I'm not the quiet type. Not my nature. I'm sanguine by nature. I'm the extrovertish. I like talking. I like expressing myself. But when I because I couldn't express myself properly, because I was always scared of just saying something that was wrong. I just kept to myself, and I just tried to avoid, making a nuisance of myself. But I had a dream that one day I'll be able to stand before people and express myself before, in on an international stage. I'll be able to stand and talk. And let me tell you, it took a lot of hard work. And I remember that I had to learn from other people. I was studying the dictionary, and then when I became a Christian, I joined the Bible study department. And I know the first few months I released a few missiles, but hopefully, thankfully, most of them were older women. They probably did not know any difference. They were just grateful that somebody was releasing grammar, and the one-eyed man is a king in the country of the blind. All right. And but by applying myself and by trying and by giving it a good go, I just started getting better and better and better. And I remember that with some of my friends, when I got to the university, we'll just be arguing and debating, and we'll be using robust words. I remember there was a time with my very good friend, my roommate, we would sit down and we will try to construct difficult sentences out of simple sentences. So instead of saying that she's a pretty girl from from head to toe, we can say, construct more complicated sentences that, following a craniocaudal analysis, this woman is blessed with such, extravagant or extraordinary exterior. Do you understand? We're just playing with words. We'll just take a simple sentence and sometimes we'll get it all wrong. But it was just a desire to be able to express ourselves. Like, if not because I became a Christian, I probably would have gone into student politics and learned all of those things. But that was the reality. There was just a desire in us. And with my friends at the time, I just wanted to get better. And I realized that I got better with time. So that when I came to Australia, and in Australia, people, the system here is a little bit different, particularly when it comes to the workplace. My consultant or my boss at the time, who was almost older than my father, I will call him by his first name. All right, we all call ourselves by first name. The juniors, the people that I train, they call me by my first name. Where I was trained in Nigeria as a doctor, when you see your boss, you run after them, you carry their bag, and you're like, they're like gods. Here, you go have a coffee with your boss and you have a chat, and it's all, very cordial and everything. Still with mutual respect, but the culture is different. So I realized I had to look people in the face when talking. I have to have the correct gestures. I have to be able to use the right words. I have to be able to smile even when I don't understand the joke. They may be cracking one joke that I've got no idea about because, it's not where I was born. But you smile with them and, create rapport and establish rapport. And I had to learn about those communication skills. And you know what? With time, I got better and better. And when I did my research, I did my PhD, I did my research, I won a great award. And I'm still going to talk about that. In fact, today I made a video about my PhD and about the sacrifices that went into that PhD. In fact, I said in that video that I did not only do a PhD, my wife and my son did a PhD. And that's a video for another time. But the point I want to emphasize here is that it doesn't matter how bad you are now with communication. I was never a speaker. Now I can call myself a speaker. Now, as you can see, I'm still not a finished product. All right. But I can still confidently call myself a speaker, that I can still speak words of life. I can still speak words of inspiration, words of motivation that would help you and that would make your life better. But I wasn't always like this. I was a drudge. I was very, very reclusive. I was shy, not shy by nature, but I was forced to be shy because I was always afraid that I would say the wrong thing. But by practice and by keeping my dream before me all the time, I got better and better. And 3 years ago, I won an international award. I became the third Australian to win this award. I was flown all the way to Phoenix, Arizona. The Marriott, JW Marriott Resort, they put me in this expensive suite. And here I was, the poor boy from Abesson High School, standing before all these professors. Only 2 people were black in the whole hall of almost 1,000. And I stood there, the poor boy from Nigeria stood there. And I was speaking and I was talking my research. And I was explaining, I was flickering through slides and talking with my suit and my tie. And all eyes were glued on me. And they presented me this award as the best young investigator for that year. The third Australian to ever win that award. I'm telling you, your dreams can come to pass. When I had that dream, I was in Yaba College of Technology with a keto sandal. All I had was I wore one keto sandal, blue keto sandal for a year. I wore it. Oh, somebody's saying they have issues. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you connecting with me? Can you hear me? Give a thumbs up if you can hear me. You can hear me? All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Are you connecting with me? So don't tell me that you're shy. Don't tell me you're exclusive. Don't tell me you can't do this. You can. You can. If you apply yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in your dreams, you will get there. Of course, it's going to take a lot of hard work, but I've told you what a dream is. A dream is not just daydreaming. A dream is not just fantasizing. A dream is not fantasy. A dream is an inspiring picture of your future. When you understand your purpose, when you find and discover your purpose, and God gives you a glimpse of what your potential can deliver, you will not sit still. You will stand up and you will be interested in pursuing your goal, in pursuing your dream. You will not want, lack of money will not hinder you. When I got my JAMB form that for those who are in Nigeria here, JAMB form is for those who are not from Nigeria, the JAMB form is a university entrance for exam that you got to do. So you do the JAMB exam. I can't remember what the JAMB means, but it's an examination to get into university. I couldn't afford it when I was in college, Yaba College of Technology. Somebody from church paid my JAMB exam. But I was determined I wanted to go to medical school. I was determined. I knew no one. I knew nobody. I had no one, but I just knew God. And I knew that, yes, that dream will come to pass. That one day I will be a specialist. I will be somebody that, I will be a professional in the medical field. And yes, I achieved that. Okay, so dreams can come to pass. Dreams can come to pass. Look at me now. Tomorrow I'm going to be preaching in church. Me preaching in church? Preach in church? How did I get here? I told you I was taking Bible study, and half of the time I will just be releasing bullets. How did I get here? I hope I don't do that anymore. Have I released any bullet today? Hopefully not. Hey. So, but that's just the reality. I had that dream, and that dream came to pass. There's another dream I'll talk about very quickly. When I was young, last week, for those who were here, I talked about my family and my dad, how, we struggled, and I shared the experience that, my father and I never had a great relationship. The relationship wasn't fantastic. He was strained at times. Before he passed away, we reconnected, but for a while he was strained, and that was because he had challenges in his marriage with my mom, and that was sort of projected on me. And I do remember that at that time I would pray for my father's salvation. I would pray that God should save my dad. I just wanted my father to come to the knowledge of Christ. I was really committed to that. And I had that as a dream. I would see him, do great things. And I would just picture that in my mind, that he will come to the knowledge of God. But every time I prayed, I realized that my own actions were actually driving him away from God. I realized I was judging him, and I was always seeing him as not being good enough. So on Sunday, I would pray for him. On Monday, I would be in an argument with him. Sometimes our arguments were so hot. I remember there was one particular day, which I'm not proud of. I was coming back from Bible study, and my father met me at the bus stop. And my father walked past me, and I stood there. I didn't acknowledge him because I felt he was not treating us well. I felt he had walked out on us, left my mom with 5 kids to meet another woman. I just judged him. I just felt that I have nothing to do with you anymore. I didn't realize that I was keeping a lot of anger in me, and I was allowing that to control the way I dealt with my father. But this was the man that, from whose loins I came forth. This was the man who took me through, primary school, was there for me and all that. And yet I loved him, but I just felt that, at the key period of my life, from my teenage years, 15, 16, he was no longer really present. And we just did not have that connection. And I think I judged him too quickly, and I probably gave up on him. So right there at the bus stop, he walked past me, and my father was shocked I didn't acknowledge him. So he turned back and said, "Me, didn't you see me?" I said, "Yes, I saw you, sir. Good evening." And I greeted good evening in a very sarcastic way. He felt offended. I was with my friend. My father lost it, and he grabbed me by the throat, slapped me right there in front of everyone at the bus stop. So that very quickly people gathered around us. And then I told him, sir, please don't slap me anymore. He said, what are you going to do? He gave me the second one. It was hot. I was actually dazed. By the time he raised his hand to give me the third one, I punched my father back. I had just taught Bible study teacher. I punched my father back. I couldn't take it anymore. And I'm telling you, I'm not proud of it, but we ended up fisticuff right at the bus stop. I was in university. I was in medical school when this happened. I just came back from school to teach Bible study. On my way home, I had an encounter, a physical encounter with my dad. I'm not feeling for weeks. And I just felt it wasn't there for the family. And I felt very hurt and betrayed. But I realized that my anger and my reaction and the way I was treating him with disrespect was not bringing him closer. My father felt judged. Every time he saw me, he felt I judged him. And he felt he didn't deserve that. He felt he had done a lot. But of course, maybe I was young and inexperienced, and I was. But that was just the issue, that I was frustrating my own dreams of seeing my father come to Christ by my own behavior, by my own immaturity. And you can't blame me, actually. Well, no, you can. But, some of the reasons for that is much more complicated than that. Because as a young person, I saw my parents bicker all the time. I saw them fight, and sometimes very violent. And I think and we were so afraid. I was always afraid of my dad when I was young. When my father is coming back from work and he presses the on, everybody's in the house starts to shake. Everywhere is tense. We never relaxed in his presence. But I think when I went to university, when I left home at the age of 14, I left home at 15, after my 15th birthday. I left home and I'd never been back. 15, I'd left home. And I think I just got to campus and I just got that confidence and that boldness. And so when I came back, I didn't see I wasn't scared of him anymore. And I think he realized that. But I think I was a little bit arrogant too. And I felt he was wrong. And I judged him too much. And that frustrated my dreams. But later, my father became very sick. And when he became very sick, we cared for him. It was almost like a baby. When people are sick, they become very vulnerable. My father was sick and I could see him every day becoming weaker and weaker, losing weight, all the cheeks collapsing collapsing, and the muscles shrinking and his body aging, his eyes jaundiced. And he was quite unwell. And I loved him. And many times I cried at his bedside. And one day he held my hands and said, "Nee, I love you." Let me tell you, that was the first time in my life, in my conscious existence. Maybe he said it when I was a baby, that I heard my father say, "I love you." I never knew how much that would have meant to me. I was 23 when my father said that to me. He said, "Nee, I love you." My wife would wonder why I say that to my kids all the time. I say that to my kids all the time. I've got 2 boys, and almost every single day I'll hold them and say, "I love you, I love you, I love you." Because that was something that maybe I needed. Maybe not everybody needs it, but I realized I probably needed it. And we were connected, and I led him to Christ. I led him to Christ on his bed. We prayed. He accepted Jesus to his life. And later, when he became very unwell, and his family, my father's father is still alive. He's well over 100 years now. His family sent for him. They said they should bring him home because conventional medicine wasn't working. Bring him back to the village. We will fix him. And my father and I will send the message back that what Jesus cannot do cannot be done. He's not going anywhere. And on a sunny Sunday morning, he closed his eyes and never opened it again. But I went there to the bedside, pulled up the bedsheet, felt his cold body with his eyes staring blankly into space. And I remember those words, "Nee, I love you." That's the lasting memory that I take away from my relationship with him. That no matter how turbulent things were, this was a man at his heart, at his very core, who still cared for me. And I walked out of that place as I was going home. I was actually going to church to worship that morning. And I still went to church. I didn't go home straight away from his deathbed. I went straight to church. And I just was there in church and I said, "Lord, I thank you because that dream came to pass." Not in the way that I wanted, but it came to pass because I led my father to Christ right on his deathbed. And one day we will be together. where death will do us part no more. Okay. So dreams can come through. Now let me get back to dreams. Am I communicating with somebody? Somebody, give me thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Am I speaking to you? Are you getting anything out of this? Am I speaking to you? Am I speaking to you? Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Alrighty. Now go back to my slides, okay? So that we can just explore that. Now, all right. So I've talked about a dream. Now, a few things about dreams, okay? A God-given dream would be bigger than your goal. When God gives you a dream, it's often bigger than your goals. Because oftentimes when we make goals, our goals are often small. Our goals are usually just enough to accommodate our strength. Is that not what we do? Many a times when we have goals, we limit our goals to our capacity. But a God-given dream will be bigger. Understand that, will be bigger than your goals. Number two, it will disrupt your plans. When God gives you a dream, it will disrupt your own plans. It will disrupt your plans. So you may have different ideas, you may have different things, but when that dream comes to you from God, it will scatter your plans. But you need not to worry, because the man, the person who gives the dream will give you enough capacity and will make sure you have enough in terms of resources to fulfill that dream. It will inspire faith in your heart. It's inspirational. When you have this dream, it inspires faith. It gives you confidence, because now you're not leaning on your own understanding. You're not depending on your own plans. You're not depending on your own goal. Do you understand what I'm saying? It brings faith in your heart. I shared my story last week about how I came to Australia. When I saw the documentary about Australia and I had no money, I didn't have enough funds. My father was sick in hospital at the time when I was processing my trip down here. I had nothing, but I just had faith. I just had belief. I just had the hope that it was going to happen. I felt it strongly within me. My plans were disrupted because at the time I had an admission to go to King's College London. I had an admission to go to UCL London for different master's degree, but I just didn't get the money. I went to a place in Nigeria called Benin City to do an interview for scholarship. I have Commonwealth scholarship. This scholarship, I was a scholarship king those days. I had a whole folder on my laptop full of different scholarship applications. Everywhere I applied to did not just work. And I had a paper. I published a paper when I was an intern. I had published a paper. My first paper, I published it within 2 or 3 years of graduating from medical school. And it was published by a national journal. But despite the fact that I had those kind of positives, I just couldn't find a way. But when the dream came, it disrupted my plan. But then, even though it disrupted my plan, I still felt faith. I knew that there was something here, and it inspired faith in my heart. Of course, a God-given dream will test your loyalty because your plans are disrupted. It looks bigger and it looks unrealistic. Because it looks unrealistic, it's bigger than your goals. It will test your loyalty. You will feel all, the pressure, the weight of the pressure to move somewhere else or to try an alternative or to go somewhere else. Are you with me? It will go beyond your personal boundaries. But more importantly, it will steer you up to take action. It will steer you up to take action. When God gives you a dream, it will move you. You're not going to sit still. You want to achieve more. All right? A few more things about a God-given dream here. It will energize you to press through difficulties because you've seen where you're going. It comes back to what I was talking about, clarity. And clarity is connected to the dreams, the picture of the future, an inspiring picture of the future. It will energize you to go through difficulties. It doesn't matter how difficult it is, you will be inspired. I remember when I started when I became a specialist, after, that's about how many years now? 8 years of specialist training, or since I finished medical school, 8 years. And if you count medical school, maybe 6 years, 6.5 years, and internship another 1 year. Now that's about 15, 16 years of my life that devoted to the study of medicine before I became a specialist in neurology. And just after I became a specialist in neurology, I felt, is this the time for me to relax? I decided, no, I'm going to go back to school, and I was going to do a PhD. Now, the research, the focus of my research was to look at the effect of diabetes and kidney disease on nerves. And why was that important to me? It was important to me because that was what happened to my dad. Because my father had undiagnosed diabetes that was so bad that it affected his nerves and resulted in amputations. And then he died from the complications of diabetes. So I said, yes, I want to really understand and see if I can contribute to the body of knowledge about how diabetes affects the nerves and how we can prevent these complications from happening. And so I embarked on this journey. Thank God for my wife who was supportive and my son who was supportive at the time. In fact, I said earlier that I made a video about this today. And that was because what happened was that I started with a cohort of kidney disease patients. These patients were on dialysis. So my research was not working in a lab like some people do, dealing with rats and cells, PCR stuff, they know themselves, working in the lab. No, I was dealing with real patients, human beings. So you've got to convince a human being to come earlier. So people that, dialysis usually in the morning, on a Monday morning, starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. So 7 a.m. to 12 o'clock, 5 hours. Dialysis for the morning session was from 7 to 12. So I had to convince these patients to leave their homes maybe 5:30 to get to the hospital at 6 in order to be subjects of a research. And I was leaving 1.5 hours from the teaching hospital. So that means I have to leave home by about 4:30 in order to get to the hospital at 6, in order to study the patient for 1 hour before they go onto their dialysis machines or, for their dialysis. So how would I do that? At that time, my wife was on a permanent night shift on Sundays. So she had to go to work every Sunday night. We had a 4-year-old boy that goes to preschool. He had to be in preschool at 8 a.m. on a Monday. So the only way we could work it out was that my wife was going to take my son to preschool and to our work. So Daniel will go with his mom for night shift. He will sleep on a couch or somewhere there in the nurse's office. And then she will get him dressed up in the morning, have a shower there in the hospital, and she will drive him straight to preschool from work. And that was what we were doing week in, week out for almost a year, in order to get my data, which is part of my research. So it wasn't easy. It was difficult. There were many days I got to work, I was famished. I remember there was a day I slept off in the car. I was parked in front of the hospital. So I just, stretched my legs and said, okay, let me just sleep for 20 minutes. And when you want to sleep for 20 minutes, that's when you start dreaming dreams. And I woke up, I had to rush out. And I had to apologize to all the people that were waiting for me. It was difficult. It was stressful. It was. But guess what? It was that same research, that same study that got me that award I talked about. It was that same study. So when I climbed those steps that day to present my work in this international conference, I remember the sacrifice that my son and my wife made and their contributions allowing me to pursue my dream. So the subject of the video was something that was actually talking about you depending on your loved ones and appreciating them and working with them to fulfill your dreams, because you can never fulfill your dream on your own. You can never. You will need people along the journey to give you a helping hand. I hope that we are flowing together. So it's very important there, what I've just shared with you about your ability to press through difficulties. So your dreams will energize you to press through difficulties. It will attract enemies and oppositions. You know that from, different people. Some of you may have an experience of that. When you have a lofty dream, some opposition will come. People will just not like you. And so people will just take, they will just not like you. They would take issue against you. They would want to deal with you in a way that is not helpful. But it will also attract helpers and supporters along the way. And you will have to be careful to recognize that. That's why you have to be careful in the way you talk to people, in the way you interact with people, in the way you treat people. You treat them with respect. Because when you have that dream, it will attract helpers. I think I shared it with you some time ago, how I went to Austria. Was it this, Tiffany, was it here that I shared that story about how I went to Austria, Vienna with my brother my brother came over from Italy for a conference. And I don't want to repeat the same story if I've said it here before. Was he here? Oh yeah, Charles said yes. All right, now that was from the day one, yeah. So when you have that dream, your dream will attract helpers and supporters. People will just come along. People will come along. For those who have not heard the story before, I'll give you a very abridged version. I went to Vienna for a conference. My brother lives in Italy. He's resident in Italy. So he traveled from Italy to Vienna to stay with me for the weekend. We have not seen each other for about 3-4 years at a time. And that Friday night, my brother went to the club, the city, party, did his thing. I slept off like I was jet lagged because I was from Australia. He was in Europe, Italy to Austria wasn't a big deal. And so the next morning, my brother was like crashed. I think he came back in the early hours of the morning, was sleeping. So I went downstairs to for the breakfast. And, there were 2 chairs on the table. My brother would have sat there if we had not partied all night. All right. And this man walked to me. He happened to be the convener of the conference, one of the main speakers of the conference as well. He sat right in front of me because he saw an empty chair and he saw that I was sitting alone. No one was with me. I was the only person sitting alone. So he came to me and I smiled at him. We started talking and he said, what do I want to do? And I told him, I want to do research using ultrasound machines to test nerves, to assess for nerves. This was before my PhD. This was actually what led to my PhD. He looked at me and said, do you have equipment? I said, no, I don't. He said, I will help you. He just, after the meal, he took me straight to one of the biggest suppliers in Europe of ultrasound machines. And I said it the other day that within 3 months or so, I had a $55,000 or $60,000 ultrasound machine in my hospital. And they gave me a loan. They gave it to me for a year to do research with it, free of charge. The first chapter of my PhD was the data I got from that. And in fact, after I did that, I realized, whoa, this is novel. This is great. I can apply these techniques to diabetes and to kidney disease, and I can understand what's going on. And that was how my PhD started. So I wasn't doing any other person's research. It was my own original idea from that contact. And I'm telling you, when you have a dream that's inspired by God, you will see, you will attract helpers. Of course, you will also attract opposition, but you must not give up to those that are working against you. Your dreams will help meet the orders of people, meet the needs of others. It will stretch your resources, but at the end of the day, it will lead to the glory of God. So I say it this way: a dream is an inspiring picture of the future that energizes your mind, your will, and emotion. Remember that. So I like John Maxwell a lot, and I just, using some of his principles here. How do you put your dream to the test? All right, the ownership question: is this my dream, or am I living someone else's dream? You got to find out: is this mine? Is this what God wants for me, or am I living someone else's dream? Are you with me? You must understand that everybody's different. Every single person is different. You must own it. What dreams do you have? Are they God-given, and are they for you? Or are you living someone else's dream? Are you doing it because someone else? I remember one of my classmates in medical school, actually, my roommate, I don't think he's practicing anymore. He told me that this degree was for experience. He told me, because I realized this guy was very smart, but he would always have carryovers, or we didn't have carryovers. He was always failing in courses and failing professional exams. He actually repeated a year. He didn't graduate with us. I'm even doubtful now that he even finished medical school. But, he told me very clearly that he's just doing this for experience. He's living their dreams. And I don't think he was successful at it. Number one is the ownership question. Whose dream are you living? All right. Number two, the clarity question. Do you see it clearly? Number three, the reality question. Are you just depending on factors within your control to achieve your dream? I've told you, if it's God-given, it will be beyond you. But it would also inspire faith in you. It will bring fear. When it is God-inspired dream, it will not bring fear. Fear is, oh, I can't achieve it, I can't do it. No. But if it's God-inspired, God-given, it will bring faith in you. You will just believe in yourself. And let me tell you, let me give you this example. I am only one of 2 Black people in Australia and New Zealand that work in the field of neurology. There's another guy who's Botswana, and we just finished about the same time. Just one of two in the history of this country. All right. And our association is probably up to 10,000 neurologists about that. And there's just one or two Black people. So when we go for meetings, it's a very white subspecialty. And I remember then that from when I was before medical school, I saw, very gifted hands. And then later when the movie came out, I saw it. And when I was in medical school, I was a dissector on an anatomy table, and I saw the brain and how excited I was about looking at the brain. I was so excited about the brain. I knew that was what I wanted. I knew that was what I wanted. But do you know, let me put this to you, do you know that when I was time to choose my subspecialty, the year before my main exam, the guy who was in the hospital where I was training, the guy who was supposed to be the neurology trainee just had visa problems from New Zealand. He was supposed to travel from New Zealand. I think he had some visa problems or some family problems, so he couldn't come. So I was there. I was not yet training to be a neurologist. I was just like a general trainee. They tapped me. I just got a call from the department of, junior, they call it the junior medical office, officers, whatever, quarters or department. They just called me and said, the Department of Neurology, their trainee, their, senior registrar, the specialist trainee is not available for 6 months. Is delayed in Auckland by some issues. Would you be happy to step in? You still know your salary, but you step into a higher role. Like, what? I've not told anyone that I wanted to study neurology. I've not told anyone that let me tell you, when you have a God-inspired dream, it will attract opportunities. As long as you stay focused. Sam Adeyemi will say that success happens when preparation meets opportunity. The problem is that a lot of us are not prepared for our opportunities. So when the opportunities come, we're not there. Why did they call me? Because I was diligent at work. And because it was a senior position, they looked at all the junior registrars. They looked, who can we depend on to do this work at a higher level? They called me. They never knew that was my dream. Do you know that changed everything for me? Because by the time I now wanted to go into the field of neurology, I had already 6 months of experience on my CV. And that was what made the difference for me. Because I had no connections, I had nobody, I was not trained here, I was trained from overseas, from a third world country, I was young, a lot of disadvantage. But when they saw that you've had 6 months of experience before, during the interview, I said, yes. And the head of the department they said, he did very well. That was what made the difference. I got excellent references. But why? I had applied myself earlier. I was working, even though I wasn't working in that field, I was doing something else. The work I was doing, some of you say, oh yeah, I want to move to that career. Where you are now, they can't even distinguish you. You're not distinguishing yourself. You're working in a job that is not what you want to do. You want to do, for the long term, but you are always led to work, never studious, never diligent, because you feel your mind is not there. No, Joseph had a dream. He had a big dream. But look at what Joseph did. When he was in Potiphar's house, he distinguished himself. He was young. He was in his maybe early 20s or so when he was in Joseph. Because he was prime minister at the age of 35. He was prime minister at the age of 35. So he would have been in his 20s when he was in Potiphar's house. He was probably one of the youngest servants. But Joseph knew everything. In fact, Joseph ran the account. He ran the personal business of Potiphar. He was the general manager of Potiphar's enterprises. And he was young, he was committed. When he got to prison, very quickly became the assistant warden of the prison. He was running the show because this guy was diligent. See here, the man diligent in his business. He will stand before kings, not before mean men. If you're diligent in what you're doing, it will open up doors for you. So stop thinking that, yes, I will apply myself and I work hard when I get to that position. No, start from where you are now. Start applying yourself, applying your energy, giving your best to what you're doing now. Because it will attract. I am telling you the truth. As long as you have the God-given dream, the resources will come. Someone said for every location, there's an allocation. That's true. When you're in your purpose, you will get all the resources you need. You don't need anything else. Everything you need to fulfill your potential is already given to you already. You have everything you need. You just don't know it yet. So I want to encourage you today with those words. I hope I'm talking to someone today. All right? The passion question. This dream, does it compel you to move? I just have to go on very quickly now. What about the pathway question? Do you have a strategy to reach your dreams? All right? Do you have a strategy to reach your dreams? Now that, yes, your plans are disrupted, you now have to go back to God and you have to strategize. What methods do I have? Do you have to apply for a new job? Do you have to continue where you are? What are you going to do? Okay? The people question, what the kind of people you have around you? Are there the people that will help you pursue your dreams? Like my own wife and my son, who was not complaining. My wife was not sulking. It was inconvenient, but she just believed in my dreams. She just encouraged me. She wasn't like making it hard. All right. Of course, if she was making it hard, I would have had to try to convince her and try to pray about it and try to get her on board. You know, what about the cost question? Are you willing to pay the price? The tenacity question, how hard are you willing to apply yourself in order to move to your dreams? And I also talk about the fulfillment question. Does working towards your dream bring you satisfaction? You must feel fulfilled. Any dream that does not give you a sense of fulfillment is not God-given. And also the significance question. And this significance question is the most important question. That every dream that you have, you see, a lot of people have dreams just for their own. Their dreams are just for their own personal gratification, their own popularity. Oh, yes, so that it can become celebrities. Now, when God gives you a dream, the dream is to be of benefit to other people, to be able to bless other people, to help other people. That's it. You see, a lot of people don't understand that living for success is not enough. You must live your life for significance. Success is for yourself. Successful people live for themselves. Significant people live for others. You should pursue significance, not success. Because when you pursue significance, success will come. When your pursuit in life is to give a helping hand to other people, to help them fulfill their potentials, to help them become a better version of themselves, whether it's at work, wherever you are, success will come your way. When I started my practice, my goal was just to make people better. I wasn't interested in the money. I knew the money would come, but I was giving value. I was giving value. Patients will come and I will listen to them and I will be patient with them and I will help them. And it took my time. It means that I will have to see fewer patients. It was not rushed. I had to be efficient. I had to be calm. A lot of things, particularly the older patients who like talking, and they don't understand in private practice, time is money. The more you talk, the less money I make. All right. It's quicker for you to say, oh, yeah, doctor, I have a headache. Take script, go bye. That's good. I can see someone else quickly. But I realized that by giving value to these people, these are the people that will spread out the word. So do you know how many people came from, back to come to me and say, well, your other patient told me about you. All right. And that attracts value. When you live your life to make a difference to people, if that's your goal, that I want to make a difference. This is not just about money. I want to make a difference to you. I want you to feel better. I want your life to be better. I want to improve your life. That's significance. That should be your pursuit, not money. When you pursue significance, money will come. Money is important. I'm not minimizing that. Money is certainly important. And I like money. I don't love money, but I like money. And I like good things. All right? But I realized that money is an errand boy. Money is just a reward for value. If you want to make money, you should pursue value. When you give people value, money will come as a reward. Don't go the other way around. A lot of people want money, but they don't want to give value. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or people want miracle money. I don't know how many of you want miracle money. Oh, before the end of this year, you'll be a millionaire. Is a lie. It doesn't work that way. People that are praying those kind of prayers for you, they are not teaching you the truth. The key to the key to transgenerational prosperity is not miracle. Did you hear what I said? The key to transgenerational prosperity is not from prayer and fasting. Prosperity runs on the wheels of industry. If you want to have transgenerational wealth that you give to your children, solve a problem. That is it. Your prayer will be, God, open my eyes to see a problem in society that I can solve. whether it's by opening the coffee. I gave this example to the people in my church. Some of them are here, of a man I met, a Lebanese man, who just realized that whenever he walks down a few streets to his office, he realized there was no coffee shop. And that in that stretch of road, they needed a coffee shop. So he decided to just start up a small cafe. I am telling you the truth. He started this small cafe. Very quickly, it built up. The cafe got bigger and bigger. And so, you know how much a small cup of coffee costs him? 40 cents. Do you know how much he sells a cup of coffee? $4.50. 40 cents. That's over 100 times. So the cost price for a cup of coffee is 40 cents. He sells it at $4.50. What other business will give you that kind of margin? And before you know it, he brought the Gloria Jean Cafe. He sold that cafe. When I met him, he sold that cafe for 1.3 million. This guy, high school, no university degree, started with a small kiosk selling coffee, but he had quality. He saw a problem. Do you know when I met him, he had 13 houses in Australia, 13 houses, high school, in his 40s. Now he's a manager in Gloria Jean Coffee. For those who are not from Australia, Gloria Jean is the biggest, like Starbucks of Australia, the biggest coffee chain in Australia. How did he do this? This was a guy who worked for me. We worked together. It was when I was working as a home doctor. He likes to hustle at night. It was my driver, like an Uber kind of thing. So he would drive me to patient houses when I was still doing home doctor stuff. So we were very close for months. He would take me to his house and everything. And anytime I remember a story, I was like, you see, when you want, and that's what God will do for you. God will open your eyes to see opportunities. God will open your eyes to, it could be a business opportunity. It could be a new product. It could be something. It could be something that it may not even be new. It may not even be new. It may be just selling something to somebody. All right, it may just be importing something. I told you, I shared this we had a webinar some time ago, I think, about starting small, or maybe another webinar on ideas, about a patient of mine who just found out that Dulux paints in Australia, Dulux paints, I think they're everywhere. Is there Dulux paints in Nigeria? For those who are from Nigeria, do they have Dulux paints there in Nigeria? I'm not sure. But Dulux paints, they're a big brand, I think, in the UK and here. All right. And he realized they couldn't dispose their paints. It was too expensive to dispose paints. So the cost of disposing a 4 liter, or a gallon of paint was more than the cost of the paint. Because here there's a lot of regulation. In some other places, they can dump paint anywhere. But when those paints expire, once they produce more than they need to get rid of those paints. And they realized it was costing them a lot of money. So this guy came and said, the paint is good. This paint is good. So what he did was that he took the paint, shipped it to Thailand. He bought 3 houses in Thailand. He has a girlfriend there. He was telling me, I think he's got a wife. He was, those crazy guys. He said he's got a girlfriend there, built 3 houses, has this big business. Startup cost is 0. He's taking excess paint from Australia, putting it in the cans, changed the name, called it his own paint. And he asked me, do I want to do that in Nigeria? He asked me, actually. Said, he could connect me, blah, blah, blah. But I just lost money to Uber at that time. They swindled me with this Uber business. So I said, no, I have enough on my hands. I'm not doing business. All right. But that was just opportunities. Opportunities. Am I speaking to somebody today? Am I speaking to somebody? Now, just, yes, say something. Am I speaking to somebody? Give me a thumbs up. Let me see you're there. Am I speaking to somebody? Yes, 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 yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Omo, you're using, muscle. Yes, good. All righty. Now, I'm rounding up now, okay? Let's just go back to my slides. Quickly, I'll talk about the stages of a dream. The nesting phase. Yeah, that's where you get the exposure, the excitement, the inspiration. The testing phase. Every dream will be faced test. And you can remember the story of Joseph, the difficulty, the discouragement. Do you know how many nights Joseph would have spent in prison, discouraged? So if you're there, maybe you're in the testing phase. Don't give up on that dream. Yes, you've nested the dream, but now the dream is being tested and it's difficult and you're feeling distracted and you're feeling dejected, don't give up, because you may be in the testing phase. Very soon you'll go into the divesting phase. And in that divesting phase, yes, you are giving a lot, you're sacrificing a lot, you're pushing a lot, and people are discouraging you, saying, go back. But don't worry. If it's a God-given dream, it will inspire faith in you, and that faith will be louder. Do you understand me? That faith will be louder than what any other person says. And of course, we've got the investing phase, which is when you put a lot of focus, fact-finding, financing, fueling the dream. And then the manifesting phase, where there's visibility, there's value, there's vitality. You're manifesting that dream. You see, so look at the phases you've got to go through, from nesting to testing to divesting to investing in the dream before you manifest the dream. You see that? Before you manifest it, you test it. You go through that divesting phase. You invest in the dream before you manifest it. And that's where people start to see you, but they don't know there's a story behind your testimony. They don't know the story. They don't. They have no clue. A lot of people see me now and they feel that, oh yeah, look, they're attracted to me and they ask me questions and, oh yeah, blah, 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 but you don't know the story. You don't. You have no clue. You have no idea. So it starts with that initial phase. And there are no shortcuts to this thing. So you can't jump any stage. You've got to pay the price. And of course, the cresting stage, that's when you're getting more and more engagement, mass engagement. People are following you. People are following you. And of course, everybody wants to get to the resting phase. The resting phase is when you can relax and other people will carry your dream. Other people will run with your dream. You've got the recognition, you've got the relevance, the rewards are there. Other people will run it for you. You don't even have to stress again because they believe, others believe in the dream and they will run it for you. They will pursue that dream. Are you with me? So let me stop there on dreams. It's, oh God, we have only one more week to go. And I don't think we can really finish all of this because I was hoping to talk about dreams and relationships today, but we will not have time to really go into all of that today. But I hope that this has been of blessing to you and that you guys have received value from what I've said. So I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I hope this has sort of been of value to you today. So I've talked about dreams from a very different angle today. All right, and not the traditional dreams which you have in your sleep. Those are real, and we'll talk about that. But just understand that it takes time from you to go from acquiring the dream to manifesting the dream and to resting in the dream. It takes time. You need to invest in it. You need to face and weather the storm and go through whatever opposition you will have to go through. But you need to, don't rush the process. Don't rush the process. You've got to be consistent in applying yourself. And I'll share a few of the dreams I had. It took a lot of hard work, but those dreams energized me. Those dreams kept me going. Those dreams kept me, I always dreamed that I would have a wonderful, peaceful home because I grew up in a home that was very hot. My parents didn't get along that much. Even though they loved us, they just, didn't get along. And so I was never very happy or comfortable at home. And I just always prayed and dreamed that I would have a calm, happy place to call home. And I can see that. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have our own challenges. So yes, we do. We have our challenges. And who doesn't have their own challenges? But ultimately, I can call my home a place of peace. When I'm coming home, I'm just excited. Let me tell you, when I come home, I'm like excited. I'm looking forward to going home. Looking forward to going up to meet my nieces. I always look for, like, if you ask my secretaries when I've seen my last patient, forget it. It's rush. Yeah. Once the patient walks out, I'm packing my bag. I don't want to be here. I just want to be home. That's it for me. I love home. And I'm living that dream. In fact, that's one of my biggest dreams, that I'll have a home. But when I met this woman, I was supposed to talk about my wife today, actually. and I wouldn't because of time, because I don't want to sort of rush it. But when I met her, and everybody said she wasn't good enough. I met her towards the end of my medical time in medical school. And I wasn't ready because I was young. I wasn't ready. And, we were in this fellowship. We had all the sisters there. I wasn't thinking about it. I knew a lot of them were doing all sorts. They were like, you know, they were getting engaged and picked up here and there, but I wasn't ready. But when God put that divine inspired love in my heart for this woman, I just felt it. I knew it was it. I knew it was it. I knew it was it. I knew it. But here she was. Everybody with, that were all the people that were close to me said, oh, except for my very close friends who were, brothers together on campus and everything. They were the ones that really supported me. But my family didn't support me. My dad and my mom clearly didn't support me. Like, how can you marry her? She's not even a graduate. She's just doing this, what do you call it, these programs that some of those universities do. You pay a lot of money and then you go evening school, all those satellite campuses kind of thing. She's got bow legs. Look at her. How can you do that? I didn't even know that my parents knew sisters in my fellowship. They were mentioning their names. What about those ones? What about those sisters in your fellowship? Why is it this one? Oh, God. Now they know that, and my mom knows it now that they were wrong. And I thank God I didn't wait at all. 26, I got married. Didn't wait that long at all. Didn't wait. And I knew it, but I knew it. I knew it was it. Now, if you see my wife now, you don't see the bow legs because we fixed it. You wouldn't even know that she had bow legs. So what was bothering them at the time and what, was all gone. And now my wife has a 4th degree. She just started the law degree this week, 4th. The lady do you know that up to today, we don't have a certificate from Lagos State University? They were complaining at the time. She's even go to satellite campus. She's been here. She has a bachelor's degree in nursing. She has a master's in acute stroke management. She now started a law degree, which was what she always wanted to do. She's gone back to school now, almost 40, to study law. And in 3 to 4 years' time, she'll be a lawyer. And I'm sure she's going to be a barrister. And I'm looking for that. I'm really excited for her because that was what she always wanted to do. So they look at her now like, wow, can anything good come out of Nazareth? So there are a lot of people, even your family will judge you. They will think you're crazy. Just the way they judged Joseph. His brothers were like, your parents would minimize you because they don't see that you want to start that business? You want to do that thing? You want to marry that man? Well, listen, just remember that as your dreams attract opposition, even from your loved ones, it would also attract support. It would also attract support. It will also attract support. I just told her that, my wife, listen, I'm from a very conservative background. All right? We're going to get married, but I want you to be natural. I don't want any artificial stuff. Just do with those artificial stuff. Be just the way you are. And let's just go on this ride together. And she gave everything. She gave it up for me. She said, okay, I'll leave it. Let's go this ride. And we did. Almost 12 years now. Almost 12 years of marriage. And still as it was. Okay? So, guys, let me stop there. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Yeah. Now, before you ask any question, can you, in one word, every single person here, we've got 25 people here, in one word, can you just describe what was the most important thing you've received today? In one word. I just want you to use one word to describe. Grace of a woman with quiet strength, as to say, always that grace at the way. Okay. All right. One word. I want you to use one word to describe what you've learned today or what was the most impactful thing you received today. One word. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Let me see your comments. One word to describe what you received today. One word, inspiring. Thank you so much from that. Olajumoke says inspiring. Favor says seek after value. Tofumi says loaded. That's great. Do not rush the process. Although I'm just seeing divine direction. Tunde Olawale says insightful. Yes. Olawale says dreams come to pass. Yes, they do. They do. Dreams come to pass. Dreams come to pass. All right. So thank you so much for that. There's a higher power that supports true dreams. Bio says, yes, that's good. Grace says the fact that my dream is bigger than me tells me it's God inspired. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't limit your dreams to what you can achieve. Charles says, real. Yes, don't limit your dreams. Yes, Oluwashemire says significance. Yes, live for significance. If you are to, yeah, he's there. If you are to, you're always a regular. Go through the process. Go through the process. Heavy says dream. My brother, dream. Heavy is a rapper. So Heavy, you should give us a rap song on dreams. Hey, rap on dreams. So yeah, dream. Don't stop dreaming, please. Don't reduce your dream. Don't limit yourself. Adedolapo Akinde, listen to your. I'm not sure this is this the same Akinde? Adedolapo, is it Dolapo Akinde? I'm not sure. Dolapo, is this Dolapo of those days? Give me a thumbs up if it is you. Or have we met one on one? Not sure who this person is. Dolapo Akinde. Yes. Ah, gosh. The Dolapo of St. Andrews. Wow. That's a long time ago. Ukamaka says, facing challenges does not mean my dreams are not good enough. It's a part of my testing. This has really encouraged me. Yes. Dolapo, yay. Dolapo, it's good to connect with you. Absolutely great connecting with you. Martin says, give it time. Omo. Omo is giving us a scripture. Seriously, that a man diligent in his business, he will stand before kings. He will not stand before men. Yes, absolutely. Remember, Joshua says limitless. Remember that the dream is what keeps you going. Dream keeps you going. You've got a dream about that marriage. It may not be working the way it should be now. It may not, but it keeps you going. Remember, it's an inspiring picture of the future that energizes your emotions, your mind, and your will. Energizes you, and you keep at it, you keep at it. All right? You keep working at it. You don't give up. And I remember it will attract opposition. It will attract derision from people, even people that you respect. They will question your dream. But remember, if it's God inspired, opportunities will come. So you just be sensitive for those opportunities. When they come, grab those opportunities. Take that step, do that thing, and God will open doors. All right. This is 6 months ago. I wasn't thinking of doing all of this. 6 months ago, I would not have been doing this. But let me tell you, the last 5 months have probably been the most fulfilling of my life. The fact that I'm regularly giving value out and encouraging people. What I've received, the comments I've received, the messages I've received, apart from those people who always want money, you know, apart from those people, all right, like I've met somebody, I've never even met them before. They're asking me to buy a laptop for them to do business. I'm like, I'm not sure that that's my goal. I'm not, that's not my intention. It's not to meet everybody's needs. I can't meet everybody's needs, but I want to just inspire people. I want I want you to be inspired that you can live to the fullest of your potential and that you can fulfill your dreams and you can go through whatever change you're going through right now and you will succeed in Jesus' name. All right. So any questions before we go? Any question? Any question? Any question for me? Any question? If you have a question, just type it there. While you guys are looking for your questions, I'll just share a few things on the screen very quickly. Any question? Do we have any questions you're talking for me? Can you just help me go through the chat just to make sure there's any question there quickly? Do we have any question? So Tofumi, can you also help me get the link for the pre-order and also for Transgenerational Conference? So I just share my screen quickly with you guys just to let you know about my book that is out right now for pre-order. You can learn a lot about what I'm saying from my book, okay? So it's a discounted price at the moment. You can pre-order if you're in Nigeria or Australia or any other part of the world. We'll put it in the link. This book will add value to your life. You know, I'm not, the purpose of this mentoring session is not to sell a book, just get that right. I don't need the money technically, but I can't make a book that has taken 2 years to develop free because people will not value it. You know, when you make it, I've given out a free book recently, The Diary of a Brainiac. All right. I appreciate the response I've gotten so far, but when you make a book free, sometimes people don't value what they don't pay for. All right. So this pre-order is hard copy. Yes. So this pre-order is hard copy. Well, it's paperback, not, it's paperback. So you get a paperback. All right. The link, we'll put the link in the bio. Sorry, not in the bio. I'm just new on Instagram, so I'm learning a lot about bio. We'll put it in the chat so that if you want to order the book. This book is my memoir. It's a story of my life, basically. So a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you are in this book. It talks about my childhood. It talks about, I talk about my childhood and my time in medical school, my time to college, how I moved to Australia, how I settled here. I talk about my marriage, my wife, my family, my siblings. And I use all of that. I share 7 secrets in the book. In fact, do you know that everything I've been teaching you is a chapter in the book? Okay, I started with the first chapter is positive attitude. The second chapter of the book is on discovering your purpose. The third chapter is what we talked about, the dreams. All right. The fourth chapter is on relationships, on and on and on like that. Okay. But so it's a book, using my story to teach these principles, and I call them timeless secrets. All right. The foreword of the book was written by Reverend George Adeboye, who is the president of Rema Chapel International Ministry. Some of you may know him. He's a well-renowned man of God and is like a father to me. Secondly, I would also want to just invite all of you guys to a special conference that I'm hosting. We call it the Transgenerational Influence Conference. Transgenerational, some of you would have seen the flyers. Now, I am hosting this program together with my friend Samuel Ekundayo. All right. This program is going to be powerful. My father in the Lord, Reverend George Adeboye, will be there. We have Bishop Bob Alonge, we have Reverend Sam Adeyemi. All of these people are going to be there. It's going to be a powerful program. Okay. Transgenerational Influence Fathers and Sons. We also have Pastor Dami Oluwatoyinbo, Pastor Debola, and Mrs. Adenawa, who is an architect, a world-renowned architect. All right. So all these wonderful people will be there. It's a free event. This is a free event. You're not paying for this event. It's for 4 days, 10th of December, 11th of December, 12th and 13th. I'd like you to invite your friends, invite people. It's going to be value. All right. And the link will also be put in the chat as well. You can copy that link and register for this conference. Registration is mandatory. Without registration, you will not know what's going on about this, because we're not streaming it on Facebook or anywhere else. This is going to be a special event. All right. So thank you so much for that. Next week will be the last in the series of my mentorship, but don't worry, in December, I'm starting a whole new series. And I'm going to be talking about that next week. So for December and January, I'm starting a brand new series. It's going to be on a different platform. It's going to be on Instagram Live. For those who are not on Instagram, you probably have to join Instagram. I also just joined Instagram, but I realized that there's a lot of value there as well. Okay, so that's a whole new series that I'll be doing in December, but this will be finishing next week. Yeah, Tofumi is saying, for those who don't know Tofumi is like an associate, a sister of mine, and we work together. She's based in Auckland, so she speaks with a British accent. So she's my associate and very good supporter with this work. So I'm launching the BMC series, Brain, Mind, and Change. BMC series next. It's going to be powerful, powerful series where we'll be talking about the brain and the mind and how we can use the brain and mind with God's word and God's power to create change in our lives so that we can live to the fullness of our potential. So I'll be bringing my scientific background with my spiritual calling as a pastor and as a man of God, bringing both together to help you navigate change and create your own change in your life so that you can achieve that in a very sustainable way. All right. Now, I don't think there's any question. Any question? Is there any question in the chat? No. I don't think so. All right. Well, guys, it's been great having you here. Thanks for staying with me. Okay, I'll see you guys next week again, and hopefully we'll have a great time together in Jesus' name. Let me just pray for you. I just pray for you too. Father, Lord, I thank you for every single person here. Thank you for every man and woman here who was under the sound of my voice. Thank you, Father, for the stories we've shared, testimonies we've shared. Thank you, Father, because none of this is meant to project our self-image. All of this is to glorify you and to also encourage them to rise up to the fullness of their potential. I pray that God, you help every single person here fulfill their dreams. Whatever dreams they have, Lord God, will come to pass. I pray you give them the energy, the grace, the strength, the stamina to withstand any opposition and to live to the fullness of the potential that you have provided for them in the name of Jesus. I pray for grace, I pray for clarity, I pray for revelation, I pray for inspiration, I pray for strength. And I pray that none of these people, oh God, will live average, mediocre lives in Jesus' name. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Wow, God bless you. I'll see you again next week, Saturday. God bless you. Please invite your friends. Invite your friends. Spread the link around. Share the link. Share. It's still going to be the same login link. Okay, share to your friends. Invite them. Let's come together next week. It's going to be powerful. Cheers. Bye, Dolapo. Dolapo, we should find a way to talk. We should find a way to talk, Dolapo. God bless you guys.